Okay, there is a question from somebody. The question is, sorry to ask, will the communists or socialists help the Muslims in Gaza fight the Israel fascists?
You see, the major left force in Palestine is Popular Front, which is called PFLP. It is a Marxist-Leninist organization, and it's very
Mhm.
old. It's older than Hamas, and right now the fight in Palestine is being fought by several resistance factions. Hamas, of course, is number
Mhm.
one. It was ruling Gaza before 7th October. Now it is back, and this time also they have kind of distributed uh, power in a sense to various factions, and Marxist Leninists are there in the form of PFLP. In Lebanon also, the local the local communists and the local Marxists are with the resistance. But the point here is that we don't have that kind of a except China, we don't have any country which, I mean, I'm not talking about North Korea or some others, which has that kind of where there used to be a communist bloc, and as a bloc they supported Vietnam. The world situation is not similar. So the simple answer to this question is that yes, communists and socialists of the Middle East, by and large, they are supporting the resistance. But at the world level, also, China is, of course, it is helping Iran. China also hosted a meeting of Hamas and Fatah. In fact,
But
they had a dialogue there,
Amrit Saab,
and
but
so and in Russia also, and Russia is not a communist country any longer. So basically, uh, the whole left movement is undergoing a phase of you know they are dormant, they are not very strong. So in that sense, what whoever is there is supporting the resistance, and some countries which are communist are also supporting the resistance. That is the
I think
Okay.
Cuba
Cuba.
supported, and
And
Venezuela
Venezuela also.
also withdrew its ambassador from there 2 times. And South Africa, of course, it's not a communist, but it went to International Court of Justice, and after South Africa, more than 12 countries also joined the International Court of Justice.
And Venezuela also.
Of course, of course. Then I think that it's a very important question, because the socialist and communists, especially, I think it is asked in the context of Russia is not communist, but you can say socialist to some extent. I may be wrong. So Russia and China, basically, this is the point, and both are helping, but only at the level of diplomacy, but not at the level of combat. Because Palestinians need a quick fix. Palestinians do not need only dialogue. Like, for example, Iran is helping directly through proxies the Palestinians, and Palestinians say, yes, we are happy. And they say that if you help, it is good. If you don't help, we will fight, because we are fighting for our land and it is our international right, etc. So the China is also, trying to keep both the party happy. So China should take a stand, because China is having a lot of leverage, a lot of influence in the Indian Ocean, etc., etc. But it's also silent, not speaking too much, etc. I think they should be more bold. And if they are not bold, at the end they will also suffer. What happened? If Syria could have retaliated against the country which was attacking it, I'm not naming the country. If long time ago, if Syria could have retaliated, then Syria could have been in a better position. Now what happened? You did not retaliate. Ultimately, what happened? Slowly, you became weak and finally finished. The same thing will happen with Iran also. If Iran is not coming directly to retaliate, because that is the only solution, is retaliation to the enemy. Those who are attacking, you have to defend. You have to defend against offense. So whosoever is destroying you or violating your sovereignty, you have to make a proportionate response. If you do not, ultimately you will suffer. The same thing happened with Syria. The same thing happened with Libya. The same thing happened with Iraq. And the same thing will happen with Russia. This is my prediction. I may be wrong. because Russia is getting weaker now. Now, what is happening now? Now, Trump is going to export its own oil. Oil will be very cheap. When oil will be very cheap, Russia will have a weakest economy because all money, more than 90% money is coming from oil and gas to Russia. So Russia has to also retaliate to give a proportionate response if possible. Otherwise, the solution will not be possible. This is the very last time. This is not the time for negotiation. This is the time for action and action for justice. Whatever is possible, I think also I'm looking forward from Indian side. The other question is on.
Okay, there is about West Bank. If please, you can check from the chat.
I think there is a question on Rojava, no, or it has been deleted.
Yeah. That is also there. Yeah.
Rojava is it was basically created as a by SDF by the Kurdish militias in the northeastern part of Syria, and they are well trained by the Americans. Americans are also there, and the ISIS terrorists, minimum 10,000, full-blown terrorists, ISIS terrorists. They are living in different camps in Rojava, in the Kurdish areas, where Americans are also there. Oil wells are also there. And their families, their children and wife, women, etc., they are around 30,000 more or 40,000. They are also living in different camps. So it is like, what you say, as a box. So whenever Americans, they want to use these terrorist groups, they can open. The same thing happened when Yemen was bombed in 2015 and 16. Most of the prisoners were freed, and most of the prisoners were also Al-Qaeda. And after that, you will find a lot of violence came there. So Rojava is a self-declared territory. It has its own parliament. It has its own people. It has its own government. They are talking about federal solution within Syria, but the Syrian present leadership is not in favor of that. It is one point of collection. And also, just after the fall of Assad, the Israeli foreign minister made a call to Rojava head or the foreign minister of Rojava that we are supporting your autonomy. It's like a joke. They are not supporting the autonomy of the indigenous, the real people of Palestine, but they are going to support the this thing, autonomy of these Kurdish people there. So it is another and the most of the SDF, because SDF they are leftist basically, but they are very good ally of Americans. But at the screen you will find that Americans are against the communists, but they use different players. So ISIS, SDF, YPG, YPJ, the women military groups, and at least 2,000 American soldiers, plus other maybe thousands, what you say, the contractors, they are there within Syria. They are monitoring everything, also in Gaza also, etc. Every person in Gaza is monitored. But anyhow, I think that Gaza people have no option except to resist, which is permissible within international law. And I hope justice will come sooner or later. There is another question. No,
Two questions. Said that missiles and other arms in attacking Israel this time were provided by China. Is it by US administration?
No, US administration is supporting, because after 18 months of illegal declaration of the creation of Israel, US recognized. Basically, Truman, the guy who is basically responsible for bombing or dropping 2 atom bombs on in Japan. And despite the fact that Japan had already surrendered, it was defeated. But despite their defeat, they were bombed. So that guy, he recognized Israel just within 18 years. America is always with them. The whole American, State Department or Foreign Department or Defense Department is very much accessible to the Zionists. Everybody knows about this. Everything is open now. Whatever is happening in, what is happening in West Bank is something new, which I just forgot to mention. And not only, the IDF is making military operations within the Palestinian area, but also the settlers are also attacking, and the Jewish settlers are basically illegal, not only by the International Court justice, but also by the European Court of Human Rights. They are illegal and they are armed. I know the data. I have taken the data from the Israeli sources that minimum 200,000 settlers, Jewish settlers, they are armed, and they are armed with M16 rifles, not the normal rifles. M16 rifles, not a single piece is with the Hamas. Even the Indian army does not have the M16 rifles. So they have, the M16 these rifles. So they are destroying homes. They are burning, firing the, things. They are also killing the, sheep, etc. And also they are uprooting the Bedouins who are living in the remote areas, because Gaza Bank now in Gaza in West Bank, now there are 900 military checkpoints. Earlier it was 600. 900 checkpoints in a small territory. So you cannot go within 10 kilometers. You cannot go freely. You have many checkpoints. The another thing is that Gaza West Bank is divided into three zones: A, B, C. Now the Palestinian Authority has full control only in A area, that is 20% of West Bank. Another 20%, Palestinian government and Israeli government combined. They have the, the control over the area. And the third is the C, is the big area, that is 60%. It is fully under the control of Israel. So now on the pretext of Gaza, on the pretext of Gaza, they are capturing a lot of lands within West Bank. As you know, Trump had already announced that my embassy will shift from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. And the another last point I will speak, and then after that I will not. What is the message the Israelis are giving outside? They are giving the message that we are fighting against terrorism. This is one message. We are fighting against terrorism. The another message is that we are making counter-terrorism operations. Both are wrong. Palestinians are not terrorists. They are the real people of that place. They are living there for the thousands of years. Those Jews, those who were the real native of Israel, Palestine, they are welcome. They should be there. But those people who came from outside in the last 40 years, they don't have right to be there. I cannot accept these people, if some people is coming from Afghanistan or Iran and capturing some territories in India, I will fight. It is my land. So you cannot. So these are the things. So we have to understand these things. Thank you.
Another question: how about the black flags of Imam Mahdi? Are they from East, like Malaysia, Indonesia?
I don't take this question. I have no knowledge about it.
No, actually, this was I also haven't come across evidence of many black flags. I mean, I don't know from where this question is coming, but I don't have any knowledge of that.
Black flag we find in ISIS. ISIS has a black flag, and within black you have a white. So that is.
Okay, I think we had now a long discussion also on the theme. And I can go to the extent of saying that when people have given different kinds of definitions, including very good thinkers of 20th century and later, how the Third World War shall be fought. And I'm not saying this is the Third World War, but I'm saying it's not less also, because its dimensions are such that they are going to work. Its breadth is an engagement is anywhere felt in the world, and It is having the tendencies anyway. How
Professor Wani. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Now this important symposium on the topic ceasefire and exchange of prisoners in Gaza, implications for peace process in West Asia, came to an end, and it is time to thank everybody. I, on behalf of Institute of Objective Studies, want to thank everybody. First of all, it is my privilege to thank all the esteemed speakers for their brilliant presentations on this topic. I want to mention the names of Professor Sukumar Muralidharan from Jindal Global University, Sonipat, Professor Aftab Kamal Pasha from School of International Studies, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. Mr. Amresh Mishra is a historian, author, journalist, and political analyst from Lucknow. Professor Arshi Khan, who is the professor in the Department of Political Science, Aligarh Muslim University. This is my privilege to thank the founder and chief patron of the Institute of Objective Studies, Dr. Muhammad Manzoor Alam, for his cooperation and support always. I present my sincere thanks to Professor Muhammad Afzal Wani, Chairman, Institute of Objective Studies, for his presence and presenting his views and conducting the program. Thank you very much, sir. I thank all the participants who joined us online, maybe the local, national, and international. I would thank from the core of my heart. I thank them all. And I equally thank the all participants who are present in the auditorium of Institute of Objective Studies. I thank all staff of Institute of Objective Studies, especially Program Coordinator Mr. Rashid Anwar, Mr. Mansoor, and Mr. Isaac, who are the technical experts. I thank all who were involved in this symposium. Thank you very much. Inshallah, we will meet again in next program. Thank you all.